Three, two, one, say, don't you know, girl, you're cold. I'm about to lose control. You know we're tied by souls, more than worth your weight in gold, gold. Don't you know, girl, you're cold. I just might lose control. You know we're tied by souls, more than worth your weight in gold, gold. Hey yo, welcome back to another episode of the Arts Block Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Curry the Third. As you see, I don't know if y'all can tell if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. First of all, hello. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're enjoying your beautiful Sunday. I hope you're doing great. But I don't know if you can tell or not. The setup change. I got the posters on the wall. I got a couple more coming. I'm gonna put my albums on the. Ooh, I just hit. I'm gonna put my albums on the wall too. My album's gonna go up too. I need to stop hitting these posters. Now, some of you are going to sit up here and be like, well, some of these are uneven. Some of them might be crooked. Mind your business, okay? Shut up. Mind your business. Nobody asked you how they look on the wall. Just know that they're on the wall, and we're going to add some more stuff to the wall. All right? All right. Man, we have a great pod for you today. First and foremost, hello, my name is Eric Curry III. I'm your host for today. Well, I'm your host all the time, but today especially. If this is your first time tuning into the Arts Block Podcast, hello. First things first, hello. If you're listening on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, excuse me, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time we post a podcast. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star and a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. All right, what are we talking about today, Eric? This is what we're talking about. We're going to get into a couple of things today. This might be a really short pod because I do have errands to run, but I don't have errands to run. I have a shoot to do, actually a photo shoot for my guy Zeb Basil. Shout out Zeb Basil. This is what we're going to get into today. We're going to get into Andrew Schulz and Kendrick Lamar. If you don't know, you're going to figure out very soon. We're going to talk about planning yourself out of creating, and we're going to talk about why seeing your vision comes to life is, more than the product being perfect. Now, I wanted to talk about Doechie's Tiny Desk, but I haven't had a chance to watch it. I got done doing laundry. I was going to plan to fold laundry, watch her Tiny Desk. So on Wednesday, when y'all get that pod, I will have a full review of Doechie's Tiny Desk. Yeah. But I'm going to do that when I come back from the shoot. I'm going to go fold clothes, and watch the Tiny Desk. I promise. Pinky, 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 pinky. All right. So boom. What's going on today? What's going on today? Let's start off with this. It's finals week. So that's also a reason why this pod might be extremely short. It's finals week. I'm a college student. This is an extremely stressful time right now. I should have stress written all over my face. And if I don't, that means I'm doing a pretty damn good job. That means I'm doing a pretty good job if I don't have stress written on my face. But stress should be written across my forehead, bold capital letters. Stress. This is such a stressful time. I feel like finals week for a college student is like, and I know life is going to get harder. I know it's like going to get harder. It's going to get difficult. It's going to get more and more tough as like life goes on. But this is hard. This is tough. And there's so much stress surrounded by finals week, and just like just like this time, there's so much stress, so much turmoil, so much like headache, and the amount of headaches that I have gotten during this past week. I've been back in New York. It's been crazy. Like my thoughts have been all over the place. I feel like I've been all over the place. Like I need these next week and 2 days to go by in a snap of a finger. That's what I need. I need this next week and 2 days to go by in a snap of a finger, drop of a hat, drop of a dime, immediately. Listen, I don't believe that I think that this is a good stress. I think that this stress right here is good. I think that the stress here is like, it's to prepare you for the stresses in life, right? The life stresses that you might face. However, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't I'm tired. I'm tired. I want to go to bed. I haven't been able to sleep for a week. I haven't been able to sleep. Yesterday I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. No, that was the day before yesterday. On Thursday, I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. For no reason. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I am exhausted. But I'm happy. You know what I realized? Just like sitting and like having conversation like with myself, right? I unironically, in a very weird way, am living my dream. I'm in a very weird, unironic way. I'm living the dream I've always wanted to live, right? I'm podding. I have my own radio show. I live in New York City. That's the big three of dreams for me personally, right? And I'm doing all of these things, but it's so crazy how our judgment and like what can be a blessing for us can be like skewed because of all of the bullshit that's happening in our lives. And there's a lot of bullshit happening in my life currently, and it's stressful and it's hard to get through it. But I have to be grateful for everything else. I have to just kind of take everything else at stride. Like, is at a point right now where it is what it is. And if that's what life is going to be, well, I'm not even going to say if that's what life is going to be, because I don't want my life to be stressed out all the time. But if this is what my life is going to be right now, I have to sit through it. And I have to take the good with the bad. Like, there's no way. I was just telling somebody this. Who was I telling this? I was telling somebody this yesterday, I think. I don't know. I was telling somebody this. But you know how boring the story would be? Like, if I like were to tell people, like, somebody asked me, oh, how did you make it? What did you do? What was your road to success? What was your roadmap? What was your plan? Da, 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 right? And I were to tell them, oh, it just happened for me. Like, there was no struggle. There was no tired. There was no blood, sweat. Oh, man, it happened. It happened. And, I'm just so grateful. That's a boring story. But you know what's an exciting story? No, I started this pod during the pandemic. I started it, was going consistent for about a year and some change. I stopped, got into some bad relationships and situationships and friendships and a whole bunch of things, was super depressed, went to college, was even more depressed. I didn't even think you could get more depressed than that. Ended up starting the pod again, started off slow, then for no reason at all moved to podding 2 times a week. So I was doing the finals, I was doing pod. That's more of an exciting story than just saying it just happened. Sometimes you just have to do it for the plot. This is a very for the plot feeling right now. Like, I'm gonna remember this feeling and I'm gonna be like, you know what, this is good for the plot. The story that's going to come from this feeling, from this emotion that I'm feeling right now, is going to be chef's kiss. It's going to be like Oscar worthy. It's going to be amazing. Somebody needs to write this, right? But right now, as of right now, before we even get there and like think about the future and think about like what this feeling could be, all I can think about right now is what the feeling is, and the feeling is exhaustion. I am exhausted. And that's okay to admit. It's okay to admit when you're tired, when you're exhausted, when you're frustrated. Hey, a lot of y'all be holding in those frustration moments, but I'm not going to allow y'all to do that no more. I'm going to start calling you out for that. It's okay. It's okay to express these things, but it's about how you express them that matters. Like, you can't just be so tired that your obligations aren't being met, right? This is an obligation. I'm obligated to do this, not contractually, but just for my own well-being, for my own mental health. I'm supposed to be doing this. You guys need this. I need this. And that's it. What else? Like, and other things too. I'm not about to go dive deep into a whole sermon. We have things to talk about. I feel like I'm already 10 minutes in. But listen, there's things in your road that you are traveling that are going to give you ups and downs. You might, and listen, you might take a left when you were supposed to take a right. You might take a right when you're supposed to take a left. Shit happens. It is what it is. The most important thing, though, is how you react to that, how you move from that, how you grow from that, how you get over that hump. If you can't get over that hump, then I don't know what to tell you. But you need to be able to get over that hump. That's the most important part. I'm tired right now, but I have an obligation to my friend in an hour and 15 minutes. I need to go over there and do what I need to do for him and his success, and then I can worry about being tired when I get home. Do y'all feel me? Are y'all picking up on what I'm putting down? All right, good. So let's get into the real, what we're really here to talk about. First thing on the docket, Andrew Schulz, please, sir, please. If you don't know Andrew Schulz, he is a comedian. He's a white comedian. He is also a podcast host. He is a podcast host with Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne the God, and it's some dude, I forgot his name. But some other dude, he has two podcasts. One with Charlemagne called Brilliant Idiots. He has another podcast called Flagrant 2 is the name of the other podcast with the other guy who's also a comedian. On that podcast, he spoke on Kendrick Lamar's Whacked Out Murals. I figured out that it was whacked and not. I don't know. I never saw the word whacked was never like I never came across it in a book. Never came across it in an article. Nobody just writes whacked. So when I saw it, I was like, that's a word. Anyway, Whacked Out Murals. He talked about that. And he talked about Kendrick Lamar's line in Whacked Out Murals when he said, don't let no white comedian talk about black women. That's law. Now, what was the specific situation that Kendrick Lamar was talking about? Shrug soldier. Can I talk? Lord, can I talk? Jeez. Anyway, what was the situation Kendrick Lamar? I'm sorry, that was very aggressive. If you listen to my podcast with headphones on, I have no other option but to pray for you. I can't do nothing else. If you listen to my podcast with headphones on and you do it continuously, like all the time, you're a trooper, and I'm your number one fan. Because there's no reason why you should be listening to this with headphones on. Even me with my headphones on, I'd be too loud in my own headphones. But I'm still going to turn me up so I can hear me a little better. Anyway, yeah, so what's the situation Kendrick Lamar was talking about? I don't know. Shrugs shoulders. Google it. But apparently Andrew Schulz was saying some mess about black women, and we don't play that. We do not play that, especially you as a colonizer. We just got through a whole beef talking about the colonizers. We don't need you to hop in and insert your colonization, sir. Please stay over there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Andrew Schulz's response to that. This is what he says. He says, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up his response and read it verbatim. I'm going to read it. Are people calling this a beef? We shouldn't call this a beef. We shouldn't call this a beef. This shouldn't be a beef. Are we going to call this the Kendrick? Is this one-sided? I feel like this is very one-sided. All right. Anyway, so I do remember what he said. Okay, now I remember what he said based off of this article. Shout out iHeartMedia, shout out iHeartRadio. So basically, Andrew Schulz said on his podcast, and he was talking with another two other people that have their own podcast. They're from England. They're Shits and Gigs. Shits and Gigs came to America and did it like an America media tour, and they came to Andrew Schultz's podcast, and Andrew Schultz talked about the black girlfriend effect. What is the black girlfriend effect? Hey, ask Andrew Schultz. And he wasn't talking about it in a positive way. He talks about it in a very negative, derogatory, you're very disrespectful way. Anyway, on a recent episode of his podcast, I'm reading from the article, Schultz suggested that Kendrick was hypocritical for calling out white comedians for speaking on black women. Nobody has respected women more through art than rappers. So I completely understand how a rapper could look at a comedian telling a joke and be like, yo, y'all need to switch that shit up. How dare y'all keep saying your wives are annoying? Schultz then jokingly rapped stereotypical lyrics about that are disrespectful to women. Bitches ain't nothing but hoes. That bitches ain't nothing but hoes and he's trying to say bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. I beat my hold on, Dave. Wait, this isn't funny. Hold on, he says bees ain't nothing but hoes and tricks. I beat my bee with a stick. That's what he says, joking. And then he says, what a time to be alive, where rappers got to talk about comedians for clout. Now, that's just the first part of it, right? The second half is when he said that he will sexually assault Kendrick Lamar. I don't think that enough people are talking about that part. Yes. Andrew Schultz said that he will have sexual intercourse with Mr. Kendrick Lamar. And is that comedy? Is that supposed to be funny? This is along the lines of what he said, right? Because I can't find the specific article because I guess nobody wanted to talk about that part. But Andrew Schultz said something along the lines of this. He said, if you and your gang homies, talking about Kendrick Lamar, he said, if you and your gang homies come and, try to beat me up, he was like, it's okay, like, you guys got it, right? He's like, but if it's you one-on-one, I'm fucking you. That's exactly what he said. That's what he said. He said, no, he was like, if it's me and him in a jail cell after we get playing all the games and do whatever you do in the jail cell, he's going to have sex with Kendrick Lamar, no matter if he likes it or not. I know I have a very diverse group of people who listen to this podcast. I know that there's a lot of people of color that listen to this podcast. I love my people. Shout out my people. There's a lot of black people that listen to this podcast. I love my people. Shout out my people. However, and there's also a lot of white people that listen to this podcast. Get your people. Get your people. Because now, come on. Like, come on. Andrew, I understand that it's your job. You feel attacked and somebody called you out. You feel like somebody called you out. You feel attacked. I understand. And this is just you as a comedian, quote unquote, defending yourself, which I can't be mad at. We all do it. When we all feel attacked, we all go into survival mode, fight or flight, all those great things, right? However, I cannot condone you, one, joking about assault, two, saying that you're going to assault another man, three, saying you're going to assault another black man, four, totally missing the point of what he was saying in the song, talking about how hypocritical it is. No, it's not. Because guess what? You use the term that bees ain't nothing but hoes and tricks, right? So to me, that tells me that you don't see nothing. You only see black women as hoes, tricks, and bees. Because no rap song has ever explicitly said black women are hoes, tricks, and bees. None of them. You don't know what type. And again, we should not be talking about women like that at all. But this is only for case in point. That's it. So all of this tells me is that that's how you see black women, as hoes, tricks, and bees. And you're probably sitting there, well, what other women are the rappers talking about? Nigga, the other women that they're having sex with. They have sex with other women besides black women. Trust me, I know. You're over here talking about, oh, well, it's very hypocritical. No, because you're over here saying things about black women that are not only damaging to them, but damaging to our community. You're saying things that are so damaging to our community and damaging to the people that you are talking about. And you, as a white man with huge amount of white privilege, and can say these things, get away with these things, and your people are going to stand behind you and say, oh, it's just a joke, it's funny. But it's not funny when we say that a white comedian can't talk about black women. Some jokes aren't meant to be said. Some jokes are too far. Some jokes you should think twice before making. You sit here and say, hey, I'm kidding, I'm joking, cool, I get it. But we're not kidding and we're not joking. We don't think anything is funny. We don't think what you're saying, doing, or what you're saying, what you're doing, or how you are treating our people is funny. We don't think that at all. So when Kendrick says, don't let a white comedian talk about black women, that's law. One, he didn't even say you. He could be talking about anybody. He could be talking about Gary Owens, who said that if that's the law, then call me a criminal. Why do y'all like talking about black people so much? That should be the real question. Why don't y'all have white things to talk about? Don't y'all? Sweet Caroline. Bump, bump, bump. Talk about that. Talk about Sweet Home Alabama. Talk about Taylor Swift. Well, I always gotta bring niggas into some shit. Niggas don't got nothing to do with y'all got going on. Y'all always just like to bring niggas into it. Talking about some, oh, that's the law. They call me a criminal. Gary Owens, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why? Why? This isn't human nature. So please tell me why. And what a time to be alive it is indeed, Andrew. What a time to be alive it is indeed. Because we are now living in a time where you can now see consequences for the things that you say. Your people can now see consequences for the actions that they do. There are consequences for your actions. So whatever those consequences may be, whether you feel them now or you feel them in a month, 3 months, 4 months, 5 years, 10 years, right? Whatever those consequences may be, just know that they're going to come. Just know that those consequences are going to come. And just know that if we start sitting up and making jokes about you, it's not going to be so fun when the rabbit has the gun. Next thing on the docket, to the important things. All right. I see too many people. I hear about too many people. I'm around too many people who love creating. This isn't a bad thing. The bad thing is they love creating, but they don't end up creating. They plan themselves out of creating. So what does that mean, right? What does it mean to plan yourself out of creating? For example, Deborah, I know you're listening to this. Shout out to you. It's this lady. I'm gonna call her lady. It's this woman at my front desk in my building, right? Her name's Deborah. She has a dream, like Martin Luther King, and I'm stupid. She has a dream. And I asked her the other day, just like, hey, like, what's the progress on this thing that you're going, right? And she was telling me like, oh man, I've done this, I figured out this, I figured out where I want my dream to take place, I figured out this, that, and the third, right? So I was like, okay, because she wants to start a business. I was like, okay, cool, what's your business model? And she was like, oh, well, I don't really have that. And I said, oh, whoa. You can't start a business without a business model. Like, what are you going to build your business on if you're just going to start it? What is it going to be about? Who are you helping? Are you helping anybody? Why are you doing this? Your why is more important than your doing. We've talked about that already. That's not what we're talking about, right? But then she kept telling me about all the other plans that she had. And I had to tell her, hey, you're going to plan yourself out of creating, meaning you're going to do so much planning. Say you take 5 years to plan out an idea. 5 years. By the time that idea is fully planned out and you're at the end of that 5 years and it's finally time for execution, you're going to be so tired from the damn 5 years of planning that you've done that you're not going to want to execute anymore. You're going to look at that project and be like, you know what? I'm done with that. I've tried. It is what it is. But in reality, you just spent all of that time planning for mistakes, planning for mess ups, planning for the mess up of the mess up, of the regrouping, and the best teacher is experience. Nothing can teach you about experience. You know that there are Arts Block podcast episodes, important Arts Block podcast episodes that are on your favorite podcast platform right now. Go to like season 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Arts Block podcast with the metronome click in them. The metronome click from when I convert the video into audio is in it's in like a whole season of episodes. That's in like a season of episodes. I had to sit and learn and adjust and learn that mistake, so now I won't ever do it again. It's some things that you can't plan for. It's some things that no matter how hard you plan, you're just going to have to do. It's a lot of people with plans. It's not enough people doing. So here's my suggestion, right? I challenge everyone to do this. You have an idea and you have a plan, right? And you might not have a full plan. You might have a portion of a plan, which is good. I much rather you have a portion of a plan than a full plan. And I want you to focus on the important things. What is it that I want to do? Why do I want to do it? Where is it going to be? Who is it catered to? You know, all of the 5 who, what, when. Oh, when is it going to happen? And how do I envision my dream get done? So that's, what is the idea? Why is the idea? Where is the idea? Who is the idea for? When is the idea is going to happen? How I envision this idea, right? I want you to write all of that down, then start executing. Then from the little piece of execution, you're going to start, forming a little bit of a plan. You're going to be more motivated to keep creating, because the motivation of, hey, I now see movement in what I want to do. I now see execution. I now see all of these great things that you guys want to do, assumably. I now see all of these things in my work. So let's keep going and let's keep striving, right? Instead of, oh man, I'm doing all this planning and I don't see no progress. Yeah, you don't see no progress because you're doing all of this planning. You're recording a whole bunch of music and not putting it out. You're coming up with ideas for content creation and you're not recording the content. You're writing you're starting to write the book, or you have the idea for the book, you have the outline for the book, but all you have to do is just write the book. But then you come to a point where it's like, oh, I don't have time. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. And now you're sitting there miserable because now you're living with a dream deferred. Now you're living with a deferred dream. No Langston Hughes. So what do you do then? Just sit and sulk in the deferred dream? Most of you will. Some of you will bounce back and be like, you know what? Nah, I gotta get back on my horse. I gotta get back and do X, Y, Z so I can be X, Y, and Z type, whatever the case may be, right? But a lot of you are planning yourselves out of creating. And she's doing it. Somebody else that I know is doing it. I have another one of my friends writing she's supposed to be writing out goals that she wants to do in 2025, and goals that she's going to accomplish, not things that she wants to accomplish, things that she is going to go out and accomplish. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm the wrong person to tell if you have a dream or you have something that you want to do. I'm the wrong person to tell, because I will hold you to that until we see the other side. I will ask you about it. I will pester you about it. I'm not going to forget that such and such has a dream. If you tell me, oh, Eric, I really want to do such and such. I really want to do real estate. I really want to do cooking. I want to be a chef, right? I'll be like, okay, cool. Have you gone to culinary? No. All right, let's get you into culinary. What else do you need? Do you know the proper knife techniques? Do you know X, Y, and Z? Do you know all of these things, right? I will push you to the point where you have no other option but to achieve your dream, because I'm so annoying. I'm going to be so annoying that you're going to have to sit there and be like, hey, you know what? Let me get him off my back and just do these things. Let me just work on these things. Let me just do X, Y, and Z so I can get Eric off my back, which I'm cool with. I'm cool with being that person. I'm cool with the, hey, Eric's super annoying, I need to get him off my back. I'm cool with being that guy. But it's less for me and my satisfaction and more for you all and you guys's, so you guys can keep going and know not to stop believing and know not to stop chasing your dream and knowing that your dream is attainable. The reason I know that my dreams are attainable is because of my parents. Dang, my pillow all showing. Dang. Hold on. Dang, my pillow all out. Jeez. All right, hold on. Dang, that's embarrassing. How long has that pillow been out? That's so embarrassing. I just seen that. That's so embarrassing. I forgot what I was saying. But yes, don't sit and let time and planning and coming up with ideas and trying to plan for the failures and so the failures won't happen. Don't let that get in the way of the actual dream. Remember the goal, right? The goal and the why are the most important things. If your why isn't, and you know if your why is strong enough, when you're one day you're sitting down and you're super tired and you're like, you know what, I really don't feel like doing this thing, but I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this thing. That's when you know your why is important, right? Because then you know it's bigger than you and it's for other people. Once what you're doing is bigger than you, or you realize what you're doing is bigger than you, then you're going to start taking your career, your art, your whatever more seriously. Because now in your mind, it's like, oh, I have people to that look up to me, or I have people that need me, or I have people X, Y, and Z. That's going to be the other side. So, and if you're not on that other side yet, that's fine. But trust me, we're going to get there. I'm going to get you there. The Art Supply podcast is going to help you get there. And speaking of getting there, it's more important to see your vision come to life. It's more important to see your vision come to life. I feel like Forrest Gump. It's more important to see your vision come to life than to see the perfect version of it right away. The perfect version of it is going to come eventually. But right now in the beginning stage, it is so important for you to see the dream just come from off of paper or off your computer screen into a real life thing, because that's what's going to keep you going. Once you have the idea, and once you have the why you want to do the idea, once you have the 5 W's and an H, you're going to have to start building that idea and making it come to life. In the first prototype of whatever you say you want to do, soap, say you're selling soap, right? And the first prototype of the soap might be trash. It might be terrible, but at least you have it. At least you have it. At least you have it. At least you have something that you can touch, that you can feel, that you can use. And then that excitement is going to draw, because it's going to be like, oh, snap, I created it. I tried it. You know what? I like this about it. I don't like that about it. You know what? We're going to go back to the drawing board and we're going to start again. If you don't put your idea into life, the idea will just stay an idea. It will just stay a plan. It will never come into fruition if you spend so much time planning and planning and planning. Like I said, you're going to plan yourself out of creation. Sometimes just seeing it happen is more important than knowing what you're doing. I'm helping one of my homegirl's brothers with the podcast, right? And I can send him all of the podcast videos on YouTube that helped me. But that's not going to entice him to start. That's just going to give him the plan to start. That's just going to teach him all the things that he needs to know to start. But that's not going to make him start. That's not going to make him go. That's not going to make him do anything. And we really have to think about that. We really have to think about that. Like, that's not going to make him go. What's going to make him go is his why and his will, and him seeing his idea come from being an idea to something that's actually happening. My ideas, the reason why I will never stop creating is because I see my ideas actually happen. My ideas always come into fruition. They happen. So there's no way I can stop when I know my ideas can happen. I've seen them happen before. Most 8 out of, I was about to say 9 out of 10. I was about to lie. 8 out of 10 of my ideas come to passing 8 out of 10 times. I'm trying to increase that to 9 out of 10. Then I'm going to eventually increase that to 10 out of 10. But right now, ask yourself, out of 10, where are you sitting at with your ideas? Does your ideas come, are you a 6 out of 10? Like, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Are you a 9 out of 10? Like, most of the time they do. Are you a 1 out of 10? Never. They never do. Right? How are you when your dream is sitting at the balance? It's either you or it. You have to choose. Psst. Let me give you a little secret. The choices are you or the dream, right? Like I said. However, you are an extension of what your dream is. So think about it again as you versus you. Either you can satisfy your need of your creative itch and what you know you are put on this earth to do, or you can satisfy your comfortability. But while satisfying your comfortability and satisfying your sloth and laziness, you are going to sit in a world, in a river, an ocean of self-pity, doubt, depression, anxiety, because you are not doing what you are set on this earth to do. So what's more important to you? Doing what you're supposed to do and helping the world, or being comfortable because you don't feel like being uncomfortable for a year or 2 years? Hey, man, that's up to you. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the Artsball Podcast. I've been your host, Eric Curry III. Sorry for the short episode, but I do have to go. I have to go help a friend with something. My dead or alive is everybody who is watching this right now and is going to create something based off of this Artsball Podcast episode. My name has been Eric Curry III. You can follow me on Instagram at Eric Curry III. You can follow the podcast at Artsball Podcast. If you are listening on YouTube, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can be notified every time I post a podcast. If you are listening on your favorite podcast platform, please give me a 5-star in a review. You can just say that this is the greatest podcast that you have ever heard in your life, and that will suffice. Remember that artists never die. I love you. God loves you. Do something that you love every single day. Do something with meaning, passion, purpose, love, all of that stuff. I will see y'all when I see y'all, boys. New setup is here. Peace. Where's my mouse pad so I can end this? Oh, all right. Bye.